But this particular show is for listeners that did have some questions or some concerns or have been treated a certain way, and this could help them in any problem that they struggling with, any question that they have, it could help them. But and I'm sure a lot of males and females, parents might have those issues with their children growing up. I worked with somebody that was having those issues, and it was very, very hard for her. And she was still there by her son's side to help him through the struggle of what he was going through. A very confusing time, for a child trying to make sense of something that they don't understand. Kevin Littlejohn says church folks don't mind them directing or playing on Sunday. Right, Kevin. Jazzy is watching the show. Thanks so much for joining the show. We're just doing a little discussion on homosexuality today. We don't have a co-host today. The seat is so low. But we're talking about homosexuality and what are your feelings about it, and what do you have to say? And another thing that popped in my mind is, what is the biggest misconception about homosexuality? And the first thing that popped in my mind was that homosexualities brought AIDS to the forefront. So not true. I mean, a lot of people know that's just not true. It was cast upon, I feel, homosexualities to make them the gatekeeper of HIV. And it just was not marked totally as a gay person's illness, disease. So we just want to know what your thoughts are, your concerns are, your misconception or the biggest misconception that you have heard about homosexuality. Let's talk about it. We talk about sex a lot. And homosexuality has been something that was also a misconception that comes to my mind, is that homosexualities are extremely promiscuous. That's bullshit, because they once upon a time said African Americans were the most promiscuous race. Now it's homosexuality. Men or women are very promiscuous. Michelle Sparks says, hey, B, how you doing, baby? Thanks so much for joining. Michelle Sparks says, church folks are the most judgmental people. They make me sick. Sis. I got that. Definitely. And that might be a topic that we have to touch on about church, because we grew up in the church. We ain't know nothing but the church.
Right. Could I say something?
Definitely.
When you guys talk about homosexuality, how do you look at that as far as like creation? Like if they had their way, then we wouldn't be here. So that talks against creation, and like it goes against the laws of nature. So forget about the Bible, any religion, anything. It goes against the laws like of nature.
For procreation.
Yes.
Okay.
So that right there should be enough. Like it's something. I mean, to each his own.
Right.
But,
but thank you, because this is what this is for. This is an informational thing. This is not about just having sex and the physical act, because there's a lot more, I think. And I have had in-depth conversation with homosexual men. I've never had an in-depth conversation with a homosexual woman, but it goes so much deeper than people just thinking of sex. Like you said, procreation. And what I wanted to know is, how did they feel by not being able to procreate? And it's something that's inside of them, that yearning to have their own children and things like that. But of course, it's not physically capable.
Right. They can do it now. They can get away with it now. They can go and adopt.
Well, they can adopt
some straight people kids, but
they can still use their own sperm, or women can use their own eggs and have them fertilized with somebody else, and they can actually have the woman can actually have, and the man can also use their sperm. And there are many cases of that happening.
How would we look at two male lions? Like if you in the wild, if you saw two male lions,
If you had two male, if you see,
how would we look at that? We would look at that and say, "Oh my God, they look crazy. That looks." We would laugh at that. So then we look at two humans, and then we come up with, well, love who you want to love, do what you want to do. But you look at two male dogs, like they don't even really get along unless like they train to get along. But when it come down to like mating with that female, like they fight.
but and it's so hypocritical to me. But let me just get back to some of my people. Hey, Dion White, Joe Kilburn is in the building. What's happening? Joe Brian East has joined us. B says, I've had a conversation with homosexual women. Elaborate, B. Tell me, what was that conversation with, like with them? What did they have to say? Maybe their biggest fears or the biggest misconception people think about them. Rick Walker has joined the building. Kevin Littlejohn says, is homosexuality learned or genetic? George Redding is definitely watching this show. And Melody says both. And that's something also, Kevin, people have discussion, and that's like a real quick response when you ask somebody, do you believe homosexuality is learned or genetic? I believe that it's genetic. I believe I wouldn't so much say genetic. I would say that it's in them at birth. Now, at what age they might choose to actually act on the sexual aspect, even accept the emotional part of homosexuality, it can be, up in age, teenage, but those feelings are inside of them, and they don't really, at a young age, probably understand, how different this is from the norm of you liking the opposite sex. But I mean, other misconceptions about homosexualities they're promiscuous and they're just doing something, or they're just nasty, or something of that nature. Now, there are plenty of people that are homosexual, have homosexual tendencies and thoughts, but they do things to try to derail those feelings by being with women or having children or trying to hold down a heterosexual lifestyle. But I believe eventually those feelings take over and they become who they really are. I don't feel that anybody should be treated any differently because of who they like or who they love. And even back in the day, I have heard of people, and this was back in generations and generations ago, that had homosexual feelings. They would pray over them to try to pray these feelings, like they were demonic feelings, out of people that were homosexual. But again, come on with it. Menace brought up something that is very true, because they can't procreate. So, in other words, what's the purpose, or what is their purpose, Menace?
Just being nasty.
Just being nasty. Says Menace. Morpheus. Brian says the men they have messed with wasn't in tune with them mentally, and the mental part of their relationship is what turned them on, and the women gave them that. And that was something also I always could understand, and this was younger, before you evolve in some ways and thoughts. I always could understand two women being together because of the passion and the things that women crave. I could not understand two men being together, because in my mind, all I thought it was bang, bang, bang.
Yup.
Being painful. I couldn't understand that until I met a man that was fine as wine, and we worked together, and I was like, oh my God. And he was gay, and we really talked, and to see him cry over a man and break down and everything behind it really changed my thoughts about how you can have the same feelings heterosexual people have. Homosexual people can have those feelings also. Now, one thing I did not agree with him was I did not know this at the time. He had full blown AIDS. And to look at him, you would have never known it because back then you could identify somebody that was ill by their physical appearance. This wasn't the progression now where people live decades with AIDS. Laverne Tidmore has joined the building. Jackie has joined. Melody says, so they turned gay. Morpheus, that's what she's asking you, Brian. Fred Martin, what's happening? Has joined. Let's talk about it. Thanks so much, you guys, for joining. Yeah, Lorenzo, hold on, I'm going to pull you right in. But nevertheless, this young man had full-blown AIDS. And I remember he told me he was moving out of town. Oh, let me go back. We would talk on the phone all the time, and I would always tell him, you need to stop. He would travel around picking up men that he didn't even know and so on and so forth. Mind you, I didn't know that he had AIDS. But just because of the safety factor, you know, he riding around picking up people in the streets, having sex with them, and so on and so forth. So that was my thing. You stop doing that. You be careful. So he said he was moving out of town, and we had a going away lunch. We went to Red Lobster. I remember it. We said our goodbyes and everything, and he promised he'd keep in touch, and I never heard from him again. About 6 months later, I ran into his sister. He had died of AIDS, and I didn't know he had AIDS. And it was even more shocking to me that he was going around picking up people, having, I'm assuming, unprotected sex and spreading this, deadly virus. And I kind of wish I had been able to talk to him to find out why was he doing this? Was he angry? What was it? But he was a gentle, beautiful soul with that one, discretion that he was doing. But I really felt for him. He was in love with a man. He had been hurt by a man, and his feelings came out. Journey, thanks for joining the building. Melody says, Magic has the money. Back then, people were dropping like flies of AIDS. Exactly. And Magic was one of the public figures that came out immediately, and he's been going strong ever since. So he was taking his meds and doing well. I know quite a few young men that have been taking their meds and have been living for decades, which AIDS is not a death sentence anymore. Brian says you can live through anything if Magic made it right. Journey, Melody says my 3rd grade teacher died of AIDS. We know, I'm sure everybody knows somebody that has died from the disease, might not be in a close context, but they passed from AIDS, and you just wonder. It just makes you think what they went through. What is the life that a person leads when there is still so much judgment in the world? Let me go back and find Lorenzo. Hold on, Lorenzo. I'm trying to figure the pull button to pull you into the live feed so we can talk about it. Because we want to know what your thoughts are on this topic, homosexuality. We want you to bring your thoughts
and talk about it.
Okay, Lorenzo, I'm adding you to the live feed, so you should be pulled in a little bit. I will pop up on on the live feed, and I think you. There you go, baby. How are you?
Fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm glad you were able to join us today because I know you have some knowledge to bring to us on your thoughts on homosexuality. So let's do this.
Hey, I'm a devil. Yeah, and you can just throw the questions at me, but listen, you're going to have to get me in the building. I'm in often. We going to go from A to Z.
Okay. We can go from A to Z. I told you when I seen you the other day, come on and kick that knowledge. Every week I post who wants to come in and co-host on the show, and you might not have been on that day or something, but I mean, we could go ahead and set up for next week, week after, whatever your schedule allows. You come on in and give us a little bit of that knowledge. Not a lot. Don't give it to them all at one time. Just give us a little bit.
You know, I got a storehouse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is my speech delayed?
Yeah, it is delayed on the live feed, but just keep on rolling. I need you to tell me what comes to your mind in this world, the evolution of life. What do you feel about homosexuality?
The first thing you notice is with the etymology, the term of what homosexual. That's an oxymoron. That doesn't even make sense because the life that we live is manifested by opposites attracted, not same sex. We live on a planet that is elongated, expand because of opposites attracting it. So same sex isn't even productive mannerism. Being understanding of the dilemma that person that has, he is absolutely metaphysically going against the very vibration of this life that we're living. The fact that he's attracted the same sex, that's not even a productive aspiration. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. Is homosexual, and sexuality is how thing expands itself, and it creates a hospitable place on this planet. It's not the same sex; it's the opposites being attracted to us, one another, that expands the longevity of life here on this planet. So it's nothing personal that I have against the brothers band. It's just physically unproductive.
Okay, and I think that's a little bit what Menace was saying, unproductive as far as procreating. Did you hear me, sweetie? Are you still with us, Lorenzo?
No,
I said you just made a... Huh? You made a statement. We've got Emerson...
I'm with you.
Okay, we got Emerson Alexander, Justine Mack. We got Liz. Hello, Mr. Black. Lonnie B. Keep that gay shit off TV. Stop it, Lonnie. But you were making a statement that is unproductive, and I said that kind of ties in with Menace was saying as far as procreation. We've had a little technical... Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Emery Phillips says God made Adam and Eve, not Tim and Steve. And these are the kind of comments that you are free to express yourself in any kind of way on Let's Talk About It. But I just wonder, do you feel, Lorenzo, and I'm directing this question to you, do you feel that two people, it might be unproductive, but do you feel that two people can love each other same sex like two people opposite sex?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Well, what ends up happening is the consequence behind being unlawful in our behavior has a certain side effect. And what happens with the anatomical structure of this atom that we call an atom has a proton and an electron. It has a magnetism for opposition. But when the humans start going against natural law,
Okay.
And the body is just somehow has gotten untangled and misconstrued.
So do you believe, and this is something that has always been debated. Hey Denise, thanks so much for watching. Mr. Simpson has joined. Leonard Black says, tell Lorenzo to stop using them big words. He's confusing me. I added that last part in, Lorenzo. I'm just being silly, baby. A big misconception about gay people, and I won't say about gay or homosexual people, period, but a big misconception, a big debate, I should say, is if people are born gay or do they become gay? What are your thoughts on that?
You paused for a second.
Okay, let me repeat that question. A big debate about homosexuality is, are homosexuals born gay or do they choose to be gay?
Well, you have different classes, as in all things. You have different classes of this phenomenon.
Uh-huh.
And so, when humans go against divine and natural law, there's a genetic consequence.
Okay.
So some people are born, they are born with a dysfunctional molecular structure. And this molecular structure sends off missed signals. The other part of the population that you are calling gay, they are actually the victims of trauma.
So they've had some.
Is my signals coming?
Yeah, come on with it. Come on with it, babe. You got me in a trance listening to you. So in other words,
Is my
go ahead, babe.
So some people are the result of trauma.
So some trauma has happened in their life.
People are the result.
So
Exactly.
some trauma has happened in their life that led them to this lifestyle.
Yep.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay.
That's what. Hold up.
Okay. Leonard Black says molecular. Stephanie Trent. Thanks, Steph. Thanks for joining us, baby. Leonard Black says that Lorenzo is speaking the truth. Belinda, thanks so much for joining, baby. We've got, yes, Mr. Simpson. Good afternoon, love. Lonnie Barnes says, what's your sexual choice is yours to have. I just don't want it put on TV for the kids who don't know any better to think that it's right. It's a free world in which we live in, so you can do you can do what you want. Just don't bring it my way, because that's when you will be harmed. I mean, and that's definitely your definite preference to have those feelings, and that's why we're having this discussion. I mean, I had a couple of messages and some discussion, so I decided to do the show today to talk about this, because we have listeners watching, listening. I don't know that us discussing it is necessarily going to change. Oh, I think we lost Lorenzo. I don't know if you left, Lorenzo, or I'm not sure what happened, but thank you so much for because I knew when you popped in, I said this brother gonna bring the knowledge, because he deep with it. He is definitely deep in every aspect of every topic that he's ever discussed that I've been present. But I don't know if this discussion is necessarily going to help them in their situation, but I try to respect and whatever anybody brings to let's talk about it, we talk about it. So this is something that we're talking about today. And I remember when my daughter was younger, and she had, homosexuality is all in the schools, elementary, junior high, all up and through. And so I wanted to sit down and have a talk to her about it. And she said to me, at the tender age of like 12 years old or 13, I wanted to know about stuff. And she said there's a lot of people in her school that are gay or same-sex interest. And, I wanted to talk to her about it. And she said, Mommy, I mean, I see it all the time. It's no biggie. It's not going to make me feel like I want to go out and be gay or something like that. And I was just like, oh, wow. Okay, you got to keep you cool and not stress out or freak out or whatever. But ultimately, I would hope that anybody that had that experience with their children at a young age would love them through it and help them, in whatever situation, they might be going with. Lorenzo said, my phone is too hot, so it turned off. Shake my head. Oh, I'm sorry, but Lorenzo, let's get together. I want you in here dropping that knowledge. Malcolm has joined the building. Thanks so much for joining, Coffee Buddy. We're talking about homosexuality, and we just had some serious knowledge from Lorenzo Thomas that is deep. The brother is deep. Leonard Black says, one of my children's mother said I drove her to be gay. Black, I can't with you. For real. I said, go the fuck on. That shit was already in you. Her mother had been in a gay relationship since she was about 14. Emery Phillips says, trauma is the starting point. Some people can handle it and move on. Some has taken it to the next level to cope with their feelings from the trauma. And since you speaking of trauma and Lorenzo spoke of trauma, I had never heard that theory before about the trauma. But I believe, like I said before, that it's in you from birth. Now, when you decide to act on it, is a different topic. But that's another thing. I don't believe, Lorenzo, that a person can make you. It's already in you, and she could have been with a man to try to suppress those feelings. But never the case, I don't feel that a person should be condemned. They should not be ostracized, but for the feelings that they may have or whatever, they might be doing in their intimate life, personal life, whatever you want to call it. Somebody tried to come in on the feed. I don't know who Devin is, but Devin.
Yeah, he wants to be DeJuan Campbell.
Okay. He wants to come on camera?
Yeah.
I don't know how to pull him in. Tell him to comment on the page, and I'll pull him in from there. Sweetie, if you're listening to the show, just come on. Let's talk about it, or go to Marlene Sparks. You can join the live feed, and I will pull you right in on this topic. People are people. Love is love. Wherever you find it is where you find it. Everybody has their thoughts about it, and that is absolutely fine to express yourself, have your feelings about the situation.
Join the group.
Did he?
Yeah. I'm logged into YouTube.
But I can't accept him in the group while I'm on live.
Okay. All right. I'll see what I can do.
Okay. But definitely, honey, be patient. We'll get you in because we definitely want to know your thoughts on this topic. As we become older, we evolve more in our thinking, in our positivity.
Ms. Sparks, I just accepted his request.
Did you?
I just did.
Thank you.
As your assistant.
As my assistant, thank you so much. You'll get a raise. Carmen Smith has joined the live feed. And Carmen, we're talking about homosexuality. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts, if you will. Type it in, make comments, and just let us know how you feel about it. We've been impacted, I'm sure, in our lives, whether it's coworkers, family members, friends, however. It's been, in our lives, and we've experienced it. Angela Craig, hey, honey, thanks so much for joining the show. LaTanya Henderson, you've been MIA. Thanks for joining the show. Coming back to Facebook, joining the show. We're talking about homosexuality, and what are your thoughts about that? So go on, ladies. Let's hear it. Let's talk about it. It is what it is. I mean, some of the funny things that you might want to say from a woman's perspective is gay guys are some of the best friends that you can have, honey. Yes. I'm being silly. I'm not mocking anybody. I'm just being silly because we have fun on the show. Darnell Timothy Bankhead has joined your girl. Hey, sweetie, how are you? We're talking about homosexuality. Don't y'all start screaming and jump off the page. We keeping it grown and sexy. We not talking about their bedroom life or none of that. Although we talk about sex a lot, we're not going to talk about that. We just talking about homosexuality and how do you feel about it? How do you receive it? How do you feel that it comes to be a person being gay? So it's a lot of little topics that's been spinning off about homosexuality. I never want to bring anybody on or call anybody out, because even though things have progressed where homosexuality has become a lot more acceptable in society, it's still a person's personal life. Whether you are homosexual or heterosexual, your intimacy relationship is your business. And Dewan Campbell is watching. Dewan, you want to come on into the show, baby?
Yep, yes.
I'm gonna pull you in.
Dun, 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 dun.
Uh-oh.
Dun, dun.
All right, we've got someone coming into the show. Dewan wants to come into the show and have some comments about our topic today, where we're talking about homosexuality. Hello, Dewan. How are you?
What's up, bro?
Hi, sweetie. How are you? Well, thanks so much for joining. Let's talk about it. Good. We're doing good. You said what, baby? Okay. Okay. And elaborate. Elaborate the punk ass parents.
Back in the days, this sexuality didn't come out until we got social media, parents getting soft and letting their kids express how they want to feel.
Okay.
Back in the day, you wouldn't have all that shit.
Okay.
You did what your parents tell you to do, you uphold your feelings, and you grew up like the church told you to grow up, and that was it.
Okay.
Wasn't all this, I'm wearing a dress today, and I want to be a man today, and I want to be a girl the next. But none of that shit.
Okay.
So all we need to do is the parents need to get back to where the parents be, put their foot off of their kids' asses, and we won't have no punk ass kids running around. Excuse my language.
No, hey, let's talk about it. If that's how you feel about it, that's what the show is about today. But I will say homosexuality has been around, in my opinion, forever. Now, how people chose to hide it or, was a different story, because it wasn't acceptable like it is today. But I respect your thoughts, and I thank you for even, coming on the show, because, well, you're a member. I think you joined the group, or did you join the live feed?
You joined the group too. And
I'm trying to get on the live feed and put my comments in, because all this coming around and kids is born like this, and it's some BS.
You don't think that a person is born like to be homosexual or with those homosexual feelings?
You might have the feelings, but I tell you what, it's up to the parents' upbringing to suppress your feelings and head you in the right direction. Like your kids, you confused when you at that age.
And you know what? There might be some definite truth to what you're saying, as far as the parents guiding them in another direction. But that guidance is only gonna last as long as a child is a child. When they become adults and they have their own forward thinking, they're gonna act on those feelings eventually.
I tell you what, it's like, I'm going to give it to you like this. Keep getting your ass whooped about the same thing, and then you're going to keep doing it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So, I'm going to run in there, and I'm going to say, if I got some homosexual tendencies and I go put on a dress, and my daddy keep whooping my ass for putting on this damn dress, I tell you what, I ain't going to put that dress on no more.
But that's another misconception, that people that are homosexual all want to dress like the opposite sex that they were born of. I feel that's a misconception, because there are a lot of people that are homosexual that you could not put your finger on to say, because they they still have masculine, tendencies or feminine tendencies. So I don't know. There's so many different opinions, but I thank you. How old are you, sweetie?
I'm 38.
Oh, okay. So you can hang in. Let's talk about it. You got your.
He used to do it. He used to do a show.
Oh, you used to do.
He used to do Minutes After Dark. Yeah.
Oh.
His show was worse than yours.
Oh, then maybe you want to come on and tag team. This is a soft side. Let's talk about it. If you get into our hardcore shows, maybe you want to come sit in this chair and see how long you can handle it.
And I tell you what, I might come sit in the chair that you sit in. But we gonna leave. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you like this. Listen, we grown people.
You would love him too.
We ain't gonna be sitting the way you looking. We'll be sitting in the chair together before the show over.
Well, baby. First of all, let me tell.
Man somewhere, but it's okay. All right, he know what he got.
Let me tell you a little something about Marlene. You said you 38.
I'm 38.
I ain't Stella, and my groove ain't went nowhere.
Oh.
Let's talk about that, sweetie. Let's talk about that. Okay? All right, I ain't about to get on him too hard, y'all, but he coming for your girl. I had you sitting in the corner sucking your thumb like, where she go? Where she go?
It's the first time for everything.
Where she go, Menace? Where she at? You better leave me alone, youngster.
I got you.
You better leave me alone because you ain't going to be you'll be sitting in the chair and I'll straddle your ass and have you tied tongue.
Actually, why did they used to
Don't-
call him? They used to call him Drugger. Actually, why they used to call you Drugger?
It was the first time, great.
Menace said, why they call you drugger?
We gonna leave that for the later show. I'll let you know when I get there with everybody calling.
All right. Come on for me. That's what I need. Come on for me. So we're going to have a tag team session and see what time it really is. When you get here, I bet you be on your knees, bow down.
Oh yeah, and they'll tell you that's what I do.
Uh-oh.
From the front down to the back, y'all.
We talking about homosexuality on Let's Talk About It today. We got a live one on this show today. Stay tuned because I'm bringing him in the building. How about that? But we talking about homosexuality. Thanks so much for bringing your input. If you make sure you are a member of Let's Talk About It so you can stay with us every day because we get busy. Do you hear me?
I'm about to get on right now and throw some comments in.
Well, get in where you fit in, baby. You better hold on, put your boots on. It get deep.
I walk in the boots all the time, but I'm on my way.
Come on with it, baby. Thanks so much. I enjoyed you. We are talking about homosexuality today. If it's born in you, if it's something that a man or a woman run you to the opposite sex. What is it? What do y'all feel about it? I mean, really. We got some more topics today. Dewan definitely was on the show. Michelle Sparks says, yes, there are some of the friendliest people on this planet. Emery Phillips says, the rain is not letting the signal. Lonnie Barnes says, right. Jasmine McKinney says, hey, auntie, I think nothing is wrong with it. I have gay friends and family. People can't help who they are. Stephanie Trent says, it's more gays in the church than straight people. Amen. Michelle says, cougar. I ain't no damn cougar. Lonnie be talking about, wow. I know, Lonnie, they coming for your girl. They coming for your girl. You got to help me, baby. Stephanie Trent says, Marlene, I want to be like you when I grow up. Come on, girl. I'll show you. Juliet Watcher is walking. Thanks so much for joining. Michelle Sparks says, good show, sis. Yes, thank you, baby. Thank you. It is so much fun to be able to talk to grown and sexy people about any topics. You know, no shade, no tea, just talking real talk. You know, we don't judge. You know, sometimes we might get some heated discussions, some comments might be taken, but when it's all said and done, everybody kiss and make up. They kiss and make up, but we just talk about things because I mean, the laugh, the joking or whatever, but these live feeds, the shows, the page, period, can help somebody. You know, somebody reached out and said, I'm having a difficult time thinking about, you know, ending it all. Drop all the bull and let's talk about it. Let's try to encourage this young man or young woman that is so much more to be done in your life. That's why you're still here on this earth. Let's turn it around and make things positive for a person. Never let one circumstance define who you are. Baby, you better ask somebody. So when you always building and growing, you always got something to fall back on. So you could just let the negativity go and keep it moving. When people got negative things to say, if they don't like that you homosexual, if they don't like your lifestyle or what you do, they don't agree with it, that is fine. But as long as you do not try to harm, verbally abuse, physically abuse somebody, keep it moving. Show respect to whomever they with. Some people probably don't deserve the respect, but I'm just going to keep it there. Show them the respect. Keep it moving. You don't have to agree. Melissa Barnes' family is in the building. Watching Let's Talk About It, where we talk about grown and sexy issues. Menace, thank you for bringing that brother in the group. Let's Talk About It continues to grow because of the grown things we talk about it. I make sure and people in the group address everything under the sun. When people reach out to me and say, can you ask this question? Can you touch on this topic? That's what we do. I incorporate it. I have never had anything that I'm like, I ain't doing that. We ain't putting that on the show. No, we address it. You might have to put on your thinking cap and reword it, refocus it a little bit, tweak some things, you know, how you say things, but you definitely want to address things because people might look to this page for the last word or helping hand or whatever it is. We try to support all the groups. We try to support all the functions. People reach out and say, can I post this in the group? Can I advertise this? If you are an active member, Let's Talk About It, you could support any function that you want to in our group. There is also so many venues, admin studios, that services that you can definitely have. We got t-shirts, we got filming, we got promotion, we got all kind of stuff going up in here. Y'all get y'all coins together because we about to break a deal. We about to have the t-shirts. So let's talk about it. A lady seen me in BP about a week ago, and she was like, you that lady that be on the Let's Talk With It or Let's Talk. She couldn't put the, but damn, she knew who I was. I was like, felt like Oprah. I was like, hey. I was like, that was exciting to me because she has followed the show. So it's definitely a good thing. We're going to get us some t-shirts so we can walk around and say, I ain't going to put my face all on it because they be talking about I'm all vain up in here and stuff. While he got my doggone poster down low here below the Menace poster. He ain't even put me up where I'm supposed to be. But I ain't mad. But there go your girl. Ponytail. So anyway, we're going to get them t-shirts popping so y'all get y'all coins. We're going to try to get the best deal we can so they can get their t-shirts for like $10.
You know what? We giving one away next week.
We giving a t-shirt. We giving a Let's Talk About It t-shirt away next week. Y'all join the show so you can get your t-shirt and y'all be the first ones to wear this Let's Talk About It.
You're going to give out trivia questions throughout the week.
Okay.
And when they, on air, they answer live, they have that hour to come and pick the shirt up.
Yes,
So
yes.
pick it up.
You have to come to the studio when you win your t-shirt. You have to come to the studio within an hour to pick your t-shirt up. We're going to have some trivia for you. We're going to have a question, and whoever answers that question live feed next week wins a t-shirt. Do I get one too? Okay, so we've got Roberto. Hey, sweetheart. Thanks so much for joining. I'm so proud of your strength as always. I follow, I watch. Love you, brother. Shake the haters off and keep it moving. Haters, baby, please. Chris Myers has joined. Thanks so much for joining. His daughter, Valencia Myers, is doing the damn thing on the basketball court. Baby, y'all watch her. She played for Solon. She about to go college bound. And I knew her when she was a little baby kindergarten with Maya and being over at the house. And now she doing the damn thing. Dewan says, I need one. All right, get your coins ready. You're going to be getting one. What time? Next Wednesday, 6 to 7. Every Wednesday. Let's talk about it. But we will be giving away the shirt. Tell me, I need that shirt. Yeah, I need, let's talk about it across your chest so you could be walking around like, Marlene, Marlene. Okay, I'm going to leave this baby alone. I have enjoyed you guys immensely. 1 minute to showtime over. Wow, we rolled like crazy. You know, guys, a lot of times I used to put a whole lot of thought into the topics, write them down, keep them in my phone. And now my mind, my spirit just says, boom, this is what the topic is most days. And I always want it to be a good topic, fulfilling. And then I overthink it and like, is this going to be a good show? Are people going to be really in tune to it? And then I just shake it off, come on in the studio and let y'all do what y'all do. Let y'all do what y'all do. I thank so much for y'all joining. Let's talk about it. Thanks for the topic. Thanks for the responses. And like I said earlier today, a lot of times people are afraid to talk about homosexuality. They dismiss it. They don't want to, address it. And that's okay. Everybody it's not a topic for them. But thanks so much for giving your input, your intellect. I must have the superpowers. Last 223,000 hours and it's cause I'm off of CC. And I'm off the Hennessy. Yeah. Like the boy from Compton said, you know this dick ain't free. I got girls that I should've made pay for it. Got girls that I should've made wait for it. I got girls that'll cancel a flight back.